Okay, I call the meeting to order. If you could please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the Tuesday, July 2nd, 2019 Town of Riverhead Planning Board meeting. First item on our agenda tonight is a discussion item for NERP Tractor Supply, Main Road in Calverton.
All right, so what we have is a site plan amendment application submitted by Tractor Supply. I'll keep it quick. What they're looking for approval to do is to install two 1,000-gallon underground propane tanks to the south of the main Tractor Supply property. This is being done because there's currently a moratorium enacted by National Grid, which basically eliminated their ability to connect to a natural gas source. So in order to keep their project moving, not hinder them, they made this application for the approval for the installation of two underground propane tanks. The application did also propose traffic circulation amendments to the traffic pattern that the trucks are taking from the Sky Materials site over that access road. I've spoken with Mr. Ayers about this, and the propane tanks are kind of a nothing issue. We can approve them, but the traffic circulation is going to require much more review. So we're not recommending approval at this time for the traffic circulation patterns, but we are recommending approval of the underground tanks.
Greg, are the tanks to fill the smaller barbecue bottles, or is it to heat the building?
That's Mark Diodati, the developer. They are to heat the building.
Okay.
All right.
So are you planning to hook up when the moratorium's over, or
Probably not.
probably not?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I mean,
So is the gas there now on the main road, or is it just they can't extend it or add service?
there is gas in the street. They will not provide us with service. There's a moratorium, I guess, on the propane, or I'm sorry, natural gas. So there's no way to tie into it. So we need fuel to heat the building. And propane is the only other alternative we have. We're not gonna use oil.
And then the only recommendation that I made, and it's a condition of approval, is that the plan needs to be amended to show protective bollards around the fill valve for the propane tank, which, I mean, that shouldn't be an issue.
No, no.
The property slopes off in the back there, right?
Yes, it does.
So how close are they to that slope off?
They are about,
I didn't look at that page.
it's about 10.5 feet away from the rear property line.
I mean, is the concern filling of the tank, because they would fill it from a truck on the driveway, on our driveway,
Right.
and fill it. So they wouldn't be coming around the back and filling it, because it does drop off.
It is 10.5, to about 10.5 feet off the property line, and then it does have a slope. It doesn't give the slope off the bat. But yes, I mean, it is 10.5 feet off the southern property line before it starts to slope down.
And the fire marshal's okay with the layout?
Fire marshal was okay with the placement. So,
Okay.
Any other questions?
No?
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're
How's,
welcome.
how's construction going? Pretty good?
Have you been by there?
I haven't stopped, but
Roof is up, walls are up, the curbing's all in. We're hoping maybe we can put binder down in the next couple of weeks, so we're right on schedule.
Great.
Hoping to open the store in October, I think.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate it.
Okay, next item on the agenda, number 2, Maidstone Landing Homeowners Association, Chapter 219. Just your name for the record, please.
Richard Gibney, landscape architect, certified arborist, representing the HOA.
Okay.
Alright, so the applicant has submitted a chapter 219 coastal erosion hazard line permit application to remove vegetation, provide safety and health footing to existing trees, and replant native plants as necessary in order to maintain the area adjacent to the Bluff and Maidstone Landing and Riverhead. And the applicant is looking for a Chapter 219 permit for areas 1 and 2 on the accompanying map. With SECRA, the action is an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA. Coordinated review is optional and is not recommended. Staff recommends that the planning board assume lead agency for SECRA review without the need of coordinated review and issue a negative declaration. The proposed removal of invasive species and high-risk trees and/or limbs will be made to Maidstone Landing, HOA, located in Jamesport, New York, within the RA residential district, with said parcels being more particularly described as first parcel being Suffolk County Tax Map 6-2-2-4.7 with a total of 17.79 acres, and parcel 2 being 600-2-2-4.3, totaling 27.58 acres. The groundwork is to only remove invasives and non-native plants with light pruning and to replant native species as needed. And staff recommends that the planning board review the application. We are currently waiting on the CAC because they are proposing removal of invasive species along a wetland, a DEC regulated wetland.
And I'm sure it's probably loaded with poison ivy up there, I'd imagine.
Quite a bit.
Any of these removal, even of the non-native plants, invasive species, it's not gonna add to erosion problems up on the bluff?
No.
No, we're not looking to do any clearing. Using DEC guidelines, any area over 4 square feet that's cleared will be planted with either a seed, plugs, or some type of native plant to prevent erosion, and mulched. There's a lot of knotweed, mile and minute weed, right down the list of the bad ones. I don't think they have the budget to get it all done. We've been applying for this since 2008 with approvals when Jeff Seaman was here, and we have a new DEC permit. We had one that just expired last year. We've renewed that now. Actually, it's a brand new permit for 5 years. I'd love to see this permit run concurrent with that if that's possible, as opposed to annual, but I don't know if that's possible.
Does the planning board have any other questions?
No, so,
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
so after that, we could do this administratively, right?
Yep, then you
Yes.
can approve the
And just to let
resolution.
you know, I met with Sean McCabe out there today. He saw the site, he understands everything. We complied with their request. They gave us a letter. I couldn't make the last meeting, so they had just a few housekeeping items that we had to submit, and I gave them to him today. So I expect approval next week.
Okay.
That's it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is number 3, T-Mobile upgrade to existing public telecommunications facility.
Right, so the planning department has received and reviewed a site plan application to modify and upgrade the existing public telecommunications facility at 656 Main Road in Alkabog at Old Steeple Church. The proposed modifications will be made to an existing telecommunications facility located on a 1.20 acre parcel located in Alkabog, New York, within the Village Center District. The surrounding area is predominantly within the Hamlet residential and rural corridor zoning districts, and all T-Mobile antennas and equipment are installed directly behind the louvers in the existing church steeple, so there are no visual impacts. To SECRA, it is an unlisted action. Coordinated review is optional and not recommended. The proposed work is to an unmanned wireless broadband facility as proposed in the site plan consists of the following: replacing three existing panel antennas, adding 3 additional panel antennas, adding 3 radios in existing sectors, and adding 1 hybrid cable reusing existing cabinets. The antenna site FCC RF compliance report states that the RF exposure levels at the site will be at 4.5234%, well below the maximum permissible exposure regulated by the FCC. The structural analysis report prepared and stamped by Joseph Johnson, New York State licensed PE, analyzed the existing antenna supporting structures and found that the mount meets the specified TIA code requirements and is adequate to support the proposed loading. The mount analysis report prepared and stamped by Joseph Johnson, a New York State licensed PE, last dated November 19th, 2018, analyzed the T-Mobile steeple-mounted equipment that supports for adequacy to support the existing and proposed loads of existing and proposed equipment. Prior to the installation, the contractors will inspect the condition of all the relevant members and connections and tighten all the connections. Staff recommends that the planning board assume lead agency, issue a negative declaration, and grant administrative approval to T-Mobile for the modification and upgrading of the telecommunications facility with the following conditions. The applicant is to provide a supplemental statement, written, signed, and stamped by a licensed New York State PE, confirming the structural and mount analysis analyzed the current plans dated May 14th, 2019, which we received last week. So they met that condition already. And does the planning board have any conditions, any questions?
Well, are there any other carriers up there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So that would just be one question, if the compliance report covered any other carriers. And then the structural analysis, they kind of did the same thing as last time.
Yes.
The PE is certifying that the mount meets the load, the additional load, and not, it doesn't really say the steeple mounts the additional load. So I'd like that clarified.
Okay.
If he's, as long as he certifies that, we can move forward.
So you want to check this, so the steeple mount can hold the
Yeah,
equipment?
as long as he certifies it, we could go forward, because he's just saying the mount is certified.
So we'll make that a condition of the, as amendment to the
Yes.
resolution? Okay.
Did you get inside the building at all, the church?
No.
That first floor is used for gatherings, children gatherings, adults, whatever. It's adjacent to the equipment room that's in there. We went through this last time when they upgraded. I wish somebody would take a look at that situation.
Okay.
For its fire retardedness, et cetera, something like that. Children's, and they also have other meetings in it, adjacent.
Does the board have any other questions?
No.
That's it, thank you.
All right.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda, I think there's still the Dune Warehouse on Pulaski Street.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you?
Yep. Hang on one second. I mean, it'll be quick. I had kept Mr. Ferdun on here as a placeholder. I was expecting him to have some material sample information for you guys for the material testing on the pile. I was under the impression that he was gonna be here, as I heard from him this afternoon, but he's not here. So I mean, I can provide, whatever he provides to me, I can provide to you. And we do just have to call the resolution for the public hearing. We forgot to do that last meeting, so, I mean, there's still a month before we hold the public hearing on August 1st, so whenever he gets it to me, we'll provide it to the board.
Okay. Okay, item 5 on the agenda, Silva Residence, Chapter 219.
Greg Larson of Larson Construction Corp., representing Kevin Silva.
Craig or Greg?
Craig?
Okay.
Okay, the applicant, Jeff Azan, is agent for the owner. Kevin Silva has submitted a Chapter 219 coastal erosion hazard line permit application to construct an armor stone wall consisting of 2 to 3 ton armor stone and riprap 2 rows wide to protect and stabilize the existing bluff to prevent further erosion. The wall is proposed to be 8 feet in height, 150 feet long. and tied into an existing Navy-style bulkhead to the east and existing armor stone wall to the west.
John, are they on the property line, or are they set back from the property line?
The-
I only have one picture here, and I'm trying to determine where the wall's going. Is it on the property line?
It's on the seaward side of the bluff,
Okay.
right at the bottom of the bluff.
Is there any other photos or anything on this one? Do you have any, by chance?
I don't have it on my phone. I have a job I just did neighboring. We're gonna attach
So
the
it
neighboring
meets up
wall.
with the neighboring
Two neighboring walls.
walls, okay.
One behind on the east side, about 15, 18 feet will attach, and then Phil Brewster on the west side, almost in line.
Okay, so it's not gonna hamper the public access to the beach or anything like that?
Not at all, no.
The maximum extent of the back wall and land disturbance shall be 10 feet landward of the proposed stone wall with installation of 100 yards of clean sand. All disturbed areas will be planted with American beach grass. Terracing will be provided at the midsection of the bluff, approximately 75 feet by 90 feet where the bowl-shaped erosion took place, and will be planted with American beach grass. A 12-inch berm and natural vegetative buffer will be provided landward of the crest of the bluff to limit further erosion. A wooden stairway extending from the top of the bluff to the shorefront beach of the Long Island Sound with a 4-foot wide and 240-foot long with 4-foot by 6-foot landings is also proposed. They do have a tidal wetlands permit that was approved by the DEC. They also approved the stairway going down the bluff to the beach to access it. With regard to secret, it's an unlisted action. Coordinated review for unlisted action is optional, and in the case this application is not recommended. We did receive today comments from the consulting engineer. He has nothing to add. His comments were at this time, there are no objections, is taken to the proposed design and improvements. So the consulting engineer is okay with the site plan. The staff recommends that the planning board assume lead agency status under SECRA and recommend approving the resolution today.
Okay. The frequent inspections would be done by the building department?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Bring it up under the resolutions.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice fourth.
Same to you.
Thank you, John.
No problem.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay, we're up to the public hearings on the agenda. First public hearing is for Plaza 58, the former Edward Sports Retail Center. Yeah, we do. Sure.
We're gonna put it up on the screen also.
Thank you.
I'll get you this.
Oh, let's go get one for Joe.
Just looking to rotate that. Sorry about that. If you go to view up top. Glad I brought the small copies for you to.
Yeah, we have them.
We pay Arthur by the hour?
So we have an extra copy here. If anyone from the public wants to follow along, we can make that one available to them.
Just so everybody knows, there's also a copy out on the bulletin board.
Sure. We could,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have clients there, Marty, or is it on spec? Do you know who the tenants will be or no?
Well, my client is here. He will actually occupy the building, but
Okay.
there will be some additional units that will be rentals.
Okay.
So he'll occupy the northernmost
Office
unit.
space?
No, it's retail.
Retail, okay.
Yeah, I could, sure, absolutely. I mean, you have the plans
yeah, that's fine.
in front of you. Basically, Martin Sunlewski, I don't know if I need to be sworn in a public
No,
hearing.
that's fine. Just your name for the record, and anybody else is gonna speak.
Sure.
And everything was posted properly?
Okay, Martin Sunlewski, architect, representing Plaza 58. The project that we have is the Edwards Sporting Goods Store, which has been here since early 60s, and it's always been a sporting goods store. When it was originally built, it was actually built as a fairly modern building back in that day. It was brick with stucco and glass. Over the years, they had closed in some walls, got rid of the glass, put a roll-up on, and it sort of lost some of its charm, for lack of a better term. My client has purchased the building. He is keeping the building as retail. It will not, the use will not change. We have already reviewed this and received an approval from the Architectural Review Board for the exterior, which is going to maintain the existing finishes. We're gonna match the existing brick, we're gonna reuse stucco and glass, and we're also using some aluminum perforated panels as an accent and to screen in the equipment on the roof. Like I said, we have received ARB approval on this previously. We're not doing any additions to the building. It is, oh, there we go. He's got it. We're not doing any additions to the building. So what you're looking at here on the top elevation, that would be the elevation facing the current parking lot where the entrance is. Now there's only a single entrance. We'll open that wall up with multiple entrances, and we have an overhang across the top. To the left is an existing area that is brick that will remain. The next elevation, you could just leave the whole picture, Arthur, the whole thing. The next elevation on the middle left, that would be the elevation facing County Road 58. The elevation on the bottom would be the elevation facing the corner, currently facing east, which basically that brick on the left is exactly where the existing brick is. We then have the new overhang where the existing overhang is. We're just updating it. We're getting rid of the full glass and doing individual windows into each store. And we're taking the sign from the corner of the property and moving it closer to the building. Where the corner of the building is, we're gonna move the sign onto the property. It's actually, right now, it's on the property line. And then the other picture up top would be the side facing south, which would be facing the driveway off of Route 25. The most important points about the building, other than a simple retail renovation, subdivision into multiple tenants and restoring the look of the building, is a number of things that we weren't anticipating, but we're doing, and it's a very positive thing. We're actually, luckily, there's enough height in the building where we're gonna raise the floor of, the inside floor of the building about 18 inches. The reason we're doing that is because the building has its original 1960 block septic, not even just a pool, they're not even a septic tank. We're in for permits with Suffolk County Health Department. The permit has actually been through the review already. In order for us to maintain the offset from groundwater and do a new system, we had to move it into the parking lot. And the only way we could do that would be to raise the system up, which meant we had to raise the entire building up.
It's not in the sewer district?
No, it is not.
No.
Yeah. In addition to that, in raising that, it also had the advantage of us being able to provide proper drainage on the property. Right now, the property has a couple of drains, but really there is a lot of runoff, especially onto the 25 location. So in raising it up, we're also able to regrade the entire property and to provide full on-site drainage for the entire parcel. And then also, as an additional benefit to the project. We'll then redo the project fully with dark skies. Arthur, if you want to go to the next slide.
Just a question while we're there. I see there's 5 entrances to 4 units, so they're obviously not identical in size, and one of them has 2.
That's correct. That is correct. Just because of the footprint of the building.
Yep.
If you were to go to the, there is a drawing all the way at the, let's see, SP1. I have SP2, SP3. 4, and there's a drawing A1.
A1, I got it, yeah.
Which you see there are basically the largest storefront will be for the northernmost store, which is the store that my client will occupy. That's almost like a double wide store. And then there are 2 additional stores. And then there's a small area that was an add-on years ago onto the building that, believe it or not, there are some really good small tenants out there, that are looking for literally just a small shop. So that was a perfect little add-on for that. So we sort of balanced it out with the elevations. But yeah, we do have one smaller storefront as a result of the overall layout.
Are they dry stores, or is there any restaurant use, or are they dry stores?
No, it's just wet stores. It's all gonna be wet retail. I mean, the only thing that would be permitted is if there was a wet retail use, which would be up to the 16 seats per the county.
Right.
That would be permitted, but it's all wet retail use.
The rear of that store, all that brick was painted white, was it?
Yeah,
In what
yeah, they
faces,
painted,
so-
they blocked in the windows facing 58, and they painted it white. That area, believe it or not, we really don't need windows, but we're going to, that would be the
Yep.
middle elevation on the left. We're actually going to maintain the brick. We're gonna use a matching brick face, and we're gonna drop down and continue a brick face along the bottom of the wall.
Tie it together.
And then we have accent metal panels set in to sort of pick up that window line. Other than that, we also added a new dumpster enclosure, again, dark skies to code. We kept the landscaping very simple with lawn areas and then accent landscaping around the building and street trees. And I think with all of the reviews we've gone through with all the different agencies based on the referral, I believe at this point we've pretty much, complied with everything, but after tonight's meeting and any other items that come up, and our discussion with Karen, we'll then present submit a final plan that can be utilized for the final resolution that we hope would be forthcoming. And be happy to answer any questions any member of the board may have.
So all the services are gonna go up on the roof, air conditioners and?
Yeah, that is correct, that is correct. And what we have is we have a metal panel. If you look at the elevation, you'll see a dotted line.
Yeah, I see that.
Dotted line up top.
Yeah, what's that?
This is a good picture right here. On the bottom, you see the glass, and you see the brick below. And then we have in between the windows, on that band, we're using a metal, like a stainless steel perforated metal panel that will actually be backlit. It'll look really sharp at night. And we're using that same metal panel on posts around the equipment set back on the roof. From a distance, you'll
What's
see.
the dotted line that I see? by
That's the
there?
dotted line would be the line of that perforated
Oh,
metal
okay.
enclosure.
And the
It's
services will
set
be
back pretty
behind.
far, so I didn't draw it as a solid area, because when you look at it, it makes the building look taller when it's really not. That perforated area is set back a good, 15 feet from the wall. And really, you won't even see it when you're in the parking lot. You'll really see it from further down the road as you're coming up. You would have seen those, ugly green roof units, and we figured we'd screen them in with that same perforated metal. It'd be a nice look.
Will each new proposed store have its own utilities, or?
Yes, it will. Each store will have its own. The roof units will be gas-fired, heat and AC. They'll have their own electric meter and their own gas meter. And water will be provided. The water's gonna be just on one meter, and then, fed to the units, but that's a fairly,
So you have a current gas hookup now?
we have,
Current gas hookup? 'Cause
yes,
there's
we
a
do. We
moratorium.
do have current gas hookup. We have,
Okay.
correct.
Anything else?
No? I mean, it's nice to see a existing building being converted in town.
Yeah, it is, and we really spent a lot of time on it. We had a couple of good go-rounds with the ARB, and it really is a building that, it's really almost like a sort of a rebirth of what the original building was in today's time, which is nice. We didn't want to change it and make it something look completely different. we wanted to sort of pick up the original flavor of the building, but really bring it into our time now. So I think we accomplished that.
Okay, any questions from the public in this public hearing? Any public questions or comments? Anything else from the board?
I make a motion that,
What's the,
I'm sorry,
parking, dimensions?
Marty?
Excuse me, I should ask you.
10 by 20.
All parking is 10 by 20. All the aisles are 24 foot. So everything, we've actually reconfigured that, and we've brought everything into current standard. Everything meets the current standards. We have the handicap with all of the signage, the, blue striped aisles with no parking signs. So everything on the site plan has been completely brought up to current code requirements.
Thank you.
Make a motion to close the public hearing of Plaza 58. So moved?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Plaza 58. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, next public hearing on the agenda, number 2, Target modernization.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Christopher Kent from Farrell Fritz, 100 Motor Parkway, Hauppauge, New York. For the applicant Target, this is regarding the existing Target store at 1150 Old Country Road in Riverhead, New York. Suffolk County tax map number is 600-1083, lot 13.7. We have provided the affidavits of posting and mailing. They've been submitted to the town planning department. I can also attest that I was at the site this evening, and the property remains posted as of 7 p.m. today, and I have photographs if you would like that. I took photos on my phone, timestamped. This is Kevin Van Heist from Kimley Horn of New York PC. They're the engineering consultants for the project. The site, as you probably are aware, it's a 14.9 acre property located in the shopping center zoning district. It has an existing 126,000 square foot Target store. The application is in conjunction with Target's plans for an overall refresh of the existing store, including improvements to the interior space, building facade improvements to the storefront, updated facade signage, exterior lighting within the parking lot to meet current code, and off-site ADA improvements within the county intersection, including sidewalk ramps and signal timing. We have appeared before the town Architectural Review Board and have corresponded with the Suffolk County Department of Public Works with the improvements to be made to the intersection in County Road 58. The proposed facade improvements, as of today, are not as depicted on this overall plan. I could actually hand up the amendments. We responded to comments made by ARB at last Wednesday's meeting, and we have proposed an updated, we've proposed revised plans, facade improvements based on the comments received at the ARB, and I'll hand them up to you.
Just to clarify for the board, the ARB,
Karen, I won't forget.
thank you. The ARB had indicated they agreed with, it was too much red.
Okay.
So, the red panel on the left side was not approved. They wanted it the same color as the gray.
We appeared before the ARB with this proposal, as you can see here at the bottom. They did not like the western Target, the red, and I'll let Kevin speak to the proposals and the changes that were made in response to the comments received. And I'll let, Kevin can also speak to the, in addition to the facade improvements, he'll speak to the updated lighting plan for the parking lot.
Thanks, Chris. As Chris said, we took the comments back that we received from the ARB, and we made revisions to the plan. So what we propose now is, instead of having the red ephes on either side of the front of the building, we're only proposing it over top of the building entrance. We've removed the other panels of ephes, and that will now be painted gray to match the existing dark gray, or the proposed dark gray that was part of the original application. The other changes to the facade are the addition of 2 bullseyes, where there's 1 now, and the removal of the word Target, which is consistent with the program that Target has employed across the country as part of their modernization and their new branding. CVS sign is proposed to stay, the pharmacy sign, and we're adding an additional sign, which is order pickup, also consistent with Target's recent program where you can place an order online, it's pulled from the store, and you can enter the store at that location and pick up those orders without having to shop for yourself. The other proposal that we are now making to the store is to bring the parking lot lighting into conformance with the ordinance. So we have submitted a lighting plan with photometric information that's compliant with the dark sky regulations as well as the luminaire height. So the luminaires that are out there today are tall. And we're proposing 34 additional pole locations at 16 foot tall. Those are dark sky compliant and LED fixtures.
Are there any questions from the board, or?
No, I mean, this is straightforward. Appreciate the removal of all that red on the west side. Any questions from the public on this public hearing? Any comments or questions?
One thing I'd like to point out too is this is one of the buildings on Route 58 that has a nice berm in front, so you can see the building, but the sea of pavement is kind of hidden as you drive by, so I appreciate that.
I just wanted to update the board. I did go out to the site on Friday, and there are some issues that will need to be addressed. I should be getting you a report probably Monday, hopefully. So I'll talk to the attorney and give him an idea of what they'll have to do before then, though. No, I don't think so.
Nothing that needs to be presented?
No, it's just some,
Okay.
Discrepancies between what's on the plan
All right.
and what's there, and some lighting is not shown, and, some of the landscaping could be beefed up, things like that, minor, relatively minor.
We'll work with planning staff to make those improvements. We have already included striping in the driveway because that was one of the requested items. So we're going to have the turn signal, the turn arrows in the driveway and striping on the entranceway into the parking lot, which is kind of faded over the years. So it's a good time to refresh this whole shopping center, including because I know that the Sports Authority is also before you at this time. So
Right.
we're going to work in connection with that application to complete the parking lot improvements.
Okay, any other questions?
So we'd request that we could go to maybe administrative final approval rather than going to preliminary and final, but we'll leave that to the board's discretion.
I think we had agreed
Yeah.
last time that it would be administrative.
As long as the issues that you are gonna point out or agreed upon, we can go right to that.
We're willing to work with them to
Okay.
We may need them to revise the lighting plan before we can, but we'll work on it all
Right.
together.
Make a motion to close the public hearing for Target modernization. So moved.
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Target modernization. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Okay, resolutions, any comments on the resolutions tonight? Any public comment on resolutions? Okay.
So we're on hold on this?
I believe, for Dune, no, we're still gonna schedule a public hearing.
Okay, it'll be.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have it before then.
All right. Make a motion to move resolution number 48 for Dune Warehouse public hearing. So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 48 for scheduling a public hearing for Fadoon Warehouse on Pulaski Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved. Number 2 on the agenda.
I'll move resolution 60 as amended to T-Mobile, Old Steeple Church, awaiting the change from the PE. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 60 for T-Mobile at Old Steeple Church. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved. Number 3 on the agenda.
I'll move 61, Silver Residence, to approve the Chapter 219 Coastal Erosion Hazard Line application. So moved.
Second the motion?
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 61 for a Chapter 219 for Silver Residence. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved.
Move resolution number 62 for 609 Norfolk Turnpike LLC for a public hearing on August 1st. So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 62 for 609 Northfield Turnpike to schedule a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved.
I'll move 63 for NERC Tractor Supply
So-
to allow them to put in the 2 underground LP tanks. So moved.
Second the motion?
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 63 for NERP Tractor Supply. An amendment, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Okay, any public comment on any matter in front of the planning board?
George Gurley, 150 Ackley Street, on Resolution 2019-49. I'm sorry, I'm a little unprepared for this. I just found out about this yesterday. In the past, when this subject has come up, we've always been notified in the neighborhood about the hearings, and we got no notification this time. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Which application is this in reference to? I know you gave a number, but,
I'm sorry. This is 937 Old Country Road,
okay,
Mr. Grover's.
right, okay.
Right. And we've got questions in the neighborhood about the plantings, the buffers. And I looked at one site plan, and we need to guarantee that it looks like there's a buffer there, and we need to guarantee that the buffer will remain. We don't know if lighting is gonna go up there, that's gonna affect us. Concern is the quality of life on Ackley Street. Well, there's at least 6 of us that border Mr. Grover's property. Why, for a small operation, for a 6-bay business, why 47 parking spaces? And what else is liable to happen in those parking spaces? Will they be accessed at night? Will it be open to the public? Is it just for the use of the business? So we're concerned about noise, light. If lighting does go up, will it be the dark sky, non-polluting type? And that's basically our concerns.
George, any lighting approved on the site plans is dark sky compliant,
Okay,
so it doesn't shine onto their neighbor's property.
okay. And it appears there's gonna be at least a 25-foot buffer off our property, but do we have any guarantees that will remain?
Well, the guarantee is that they'll be they will not be in compliance of their approved site plan if they deviate from that. And then it's,
So we had a public hearing on this, when was it?
October of 2016.
So it's been a long time ago, but I think some of the concerns that you raised tonight, we could answer some of them.
Yes.
If Karen, if you don't mind, she's the planner that was overseeing this application.
Basically, all the lighting complies with dark skies, except between times that we reviewed it, we changed the color temperature of LED lighting to make it less harsh. So there's a condition in the resolution that the next plan they submit has to correct that.
As it-
So that's the lighting. As far as the buffer, they're only required to have a 25-foot we call it transitional yard, it's a buffer.
Right.
They're providing a minimum of 69.5 feet
Really?
off the property line to the area of disturbance for the parking lot. And it actually increases as you go west to over 75 feet. So also, the resolution contains a resolution that all vegetation, trees, and underbrush outside the area to be developed has to remain undisturbed unless they come back to the planning board with another application. There was another question, I'm sorry.
The parking and the noise.
Parking, yeah.
The applicant had indicated to the board that he just wanted to make sure he had enough parking so that his vehicles or his customers weren't on the adjacent properties. The board felt that was satisfactory.
We felt it would work, because in so many cases, people just pull in, they don't find a parking spot, so they go next door. You know, they'll park in the Friendlies, you know, and he didn't want that. And I can't say as I blame him, you know. So provide more spaces so that people can come in, find their way in, and it'd be on his property, because obviously Friendlies and any adjoining neighbors wouldn't want him putting his customers in their,
Right, that's
in their
understandable.
customer spot.
But the question has come up in the past that he was trying to get hospital parking in there. I understand he's dropped that subject, but is it possible that could happen in the future?
Just so you're aware, there's also a condition of the resolution that the parking lot area can only be used for parking accessory to the on-site business. So that would be cars being worked on or customer parking. So if they want to do anything else, they'd have to come back for approvals for that.
All right, I guess that about covers it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Robert Elrose. I also live on Ackley Street, and I have some concerns also about our quality of life. Now, you said this is gonna be built with the dark sky compliant. Now, when those trees behind or in front of my house, because I face 58, when those trees in the winter lose their leaves, Burger King is bright like, I mean, it's ridiculous how much lighting there is. Is that dark sky compliant?
Probably not. It's when they were built. So now that you're building new, it has to, the statute, the codes have changed, so now they have to become compliant.
Yeah, my other concern is the sewerage. Now, he has sent letters to different people on the north side about wanting to hook up a sewer pipe from his property to our street sewerage. Now, knowing that Route 58 is higher than our street, if that runoff that sits in those ponds in the back when it rains gets drained into our sewage, our houses are gonna get backed up just like the house on the street behind us, Alec and all that. Every time it's a good rain, you know, people are pumping out their basements because they can't handle the water. Now, is this gonna happen to us? That's never happened before, because he decides to put in this parking lot?
Well, the town engineer has to review the site plans, and they have to put in drainage structures to keep their water on their property.
Yeah, but their water is gonna become our water because it's gonna get hooked into our sewage, that pipe that
Well,
runs
it's
down
two-
our
two
street.
Two separate things. There's drainage for stormwater runoff, and then there's sewerage, which is wastewater. So he wanted, I guess, to hook up to sewers. And
He tried.
He had tried, but he can't. So he's going to be putting in a septic system.
With health department approval.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Sharon Bernstein. I live on 146 Ackley. What happens if they do all this that they say you do and the plants die? then that is going to affect, since they're higher up and it's gonna go down, how is that gonna protect our homes?
Well, if the plant's die, that's a violation of their approval, and the town would have to enforce it, right?
Well, right now, they're showing 70 feet of natural vegetation. To remain. Or more.
Right, but that buffer is specified in there that needs to stay there, right?
It says, right, there's a resolution that they can't disturb it. It has to remain undisturbed. So I don't foresee any reason that it would die.
And I also have an issue with 47 parking spots. With all the car repair shops in Riverhead, why does he need 47? If it's an 8-bay repair shop, and they do, say, 3 or 4 a day, you know, they use 8, 16, 24. What's with the 47? There's 17 cars there now that haven't moved in the 3 years. And I know because I eat at Friendly's and I count them.
Just my personal, if somebody leaves a car and doesn't pick it up for 2 or 3 days, and it just continues to move like that, I mean, there's someone on the board that has a repair shop and has that all the time, I'm sure. You know, if someone
My
comes in.
shop is much smaller, it's only 3 bays, and I can tell you right now, 47 cars is not really that unreasonable.
For that type of
For
activity.
that time of activity, for that 8 bays.
And what protection is there gonna be if the cars are left?
Like if they're unregistered?
Unregistered, or they're registered and the people don't pick up? You've got a lot of people walking around. How do we know what's gonna happen if they feel like going in and stealing a car or something? I mean, what do we have that's gonna protect us? I mean, yes, the thing was 3 years ago, but the site plan changed, so if the site plan changed, then we should have been notified. So we want our protection. Excuse me.
Just to clarify, the plan the hearing was held on showed 47 parking stalls, and it hasn't changed in any significant way.
So, I asked a similar question the last time they were here for a work session about all the vehicles that are parked there. And he assured us that they were all related to the business activity. But if, years go by and you find that there are derelict vehicles there that have been there and they're flat tires and not registered, that would be a code enforcement issue for the town to handle, and you'd have to call code enforcement to come down and write a violation, if that in fact occurs. But we did ask that question the last time he was here, I did personally.
Do you find him to be a bad neighbor now?
No, I don't even know him. But I do know when I go to Friendly's, I see the same cars there. And, 17 cars are fine, but when you have 47 cars and, people moving in and out, and our properties are right there, 75 feet or 100 feet, it doesn't matter because you can wander. So where's our protection?
I think your protection is in the site plan. There is built-in buffers, he has to maintain those buffers. There's drainage, he has to keep his stormwater on site. I think the protections are in the site plan.
And the noise, because once you cut down
the
some of
parking
those
lot.
trees, you're gonna get 58 noise. We get a lot more noise in the winter
Yeah,
than
I'm
we do
sure.
in the summer.
I'm sure you're gonna get more noise.
So what can we do for that?
Well, the hours of operation aren't, like the drive-throughs
I
that you
think
may
you're
hear.
talking about like Route 58 noise.
Oh,
like
Route
those
58
trees.
noise. Oh,
I mean, I know they're not open till past 8. Probably earlier, but, and are we gonna be notified when it goes for a vote? Or are we gonna be just as surprised as we was for the preliminary approval?
well, it's posted on the agenda. I'm not sure how far or how close they are to final approval, but it gets posted on our agenda. The only thing we can tell you is to watch the agenda, and if you wanna come speak before we always ask for public input before we vote on the resolutions. You could come back, but, if there's anything that, you really think that we haven't answered that really would you'd like to see changed, I mean, we could consider it, and now is really the time to tell us that.
Well, we only had 3 days to,
We'll always take your comments. If your neighbors didn't know and they wanna come to the next couple of meetings, we'll be happy to listen to them,
well, none of us knew. This was a total surprise.
okay?
We thought at the 2016 meeting, it was done. Augie said it was done, that this is how it was gonna be. And then 2019, we see that there's a preliminary approval for more work and an expansion.
Basically, the break in the review was due to, he was trying to work out a hookup to the sewers. So there wasn't, the building's not bigger, the building hasn't gotten bigger. The parking lot, it's still the same 47 stalls, that the public hearing was held on.
The other thing is, we can't legislate human behavior. If people
I
are
know
gonna
that.
rob or make loud noises, there's really not much that we can do about that.
I know that, but in
We did the
19
site plan.
years,
We tried to make the site plan as best we can for the applicant and for the surrounding neighbors.
And when we take public comments at the hearings, we do our best to include them in any resolution by placing conditions on the approval.
all right. But we will be notified, or there'll
Well,
be something.
You won't be notified, like, you won't get a letter, you won't get a phone call. It's just gonna come up on the agenda for final approval once they meet any outstanding issues that they're working out right now.
Now, where would the agenda be?
The agendas are posted by 3 o'clock on the Friday prior to the meetings. My board meeting meets the first and third Thursday of the month, so the week prior to that, by 3 o'clock that Friday, they're posted under the planning department, under the town website. Go to the planning board under the website, and you'll see the agendas posted
They've
every
met-
the Friday before the meeting.
If you don't mind me asking, how'd you find out about tonight's meeting? Because this is an off day for us. Because July 4th is Thursday, that would be our meeting, but it's a holiday, so we voted on having it on Tuesday. How did you find out about today's?
We're a close-knit group, so
Okay.
we communicate, and, you know, it's our house, our area, and we wanna maintain it because we don't,
Sure.
you
I
know.
would suggest that, being that we're that far along in the process, I wouldn't wait or try to check the agenda every Friday. If you have a concern or you wanna do something, come next week again, next meeting or the meeting after and tell us. I wouldn't wait, because really your position or concerns won't change between now and when the finals approval is in
So-
front of us.
So we can come anytime you have a meeting.
The applicant's met his criteria, so all the postings and public hearings are over, so it's gonna be up to you to find out when it's gonna be on, and the website will have all that information for you.
All right, 'cause
Or
I-
you feel free to call planning.
Okay, I didn't know to look. I just thought it was done in 2016, so,
No, that was just basically the start of it, you know.
okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing briefly, if I may, on the planting. You're talking about the existing foliage that's there. And he left a buffer in, was it 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when he clear cut the lot? He left a small buffer along our property line. I think it's maybe 10 feet, left a few big trees. So anything that's grown up beyond that now, anything north of that 10 feet, is basically scrub. It's, there's a mountain of catbrier in there and small trees, medium-sized trees. These things are not gonna last the winter. They're not gonna provide a good defense against the noise or the light. Is it possible that he could be asked to do some planting along along our border?
I had brought that up initially, whether the board would want to provide a row of, arborvitae or what have you along the parking lot, to provide some additional buffering. If the board would like to do that, that's one option maybe.
We
There's
could
really
revisit
not
that.
much left there, after he
No,
clear cut it, without a proper permit, I believe. Full-grown arborvitaes would be very nice.
Okay, we could speak to the applicant and say that a group came and ask him to do that. And I don't think that would be asking too much. It's a little late in the process, but we'll do our best to require that.
I appreciate the thought, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Any matter? Okay, thank you.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of the June 20th meeting. So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of June 20th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Have a
Next,
nice 4th of July, everybody.
next meeting date, July 18th at 3 PM. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Happy 4th, thank you.
Yep, have a good one.